Hi friends, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today is the Just Our Imagination Challenge. I'll let you know more about that in a few minutes, but first of all, if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Brenda and this is my Oliver, and if you're returning, you guys are the best. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting.
Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this Tide Pod container and I'm going to remove that front logo, paper, whatever you want to call it. And then once I got the top layer removed, I used my little Cricut spatula to kind of help me scrape up that bottom layer. And once I had that scraped off, I tried using my paint scraper to remove that top gray part, but really all it took was my fingers and a little elbow grease. Then I gave it a quick little sanding, wiped it all off, and then I did 2 coats of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut. If you have spray paint, it might be easier to actually spray paint it first and then just do the hazelnut, or spray paint it with a brown color. Then I took these garden charms from Dollar Tree and I painted them with my hazelnut, and these 3-inch wood browns come from Amazon and I painted them with Waverly Snow White. After that, I took this glue pen. I was perfect size for eyes, so I'm using my pencil to trace out the eyes. I took one of my markers. I'm going to trace that for the nose, and then I'm just going to outline the mouth myself. And I like to use a pencil when I do this because it gives me, as you can see my eraser there are times where I have to erase it because I don't like the way it looks. And then once I have it the way I look, then I just use my markers to color it all in and fill it in. And I find that it works much better for me than if I just try to freehand it with my markers, because boy, do I mess it up if I do it that way. But anyways, I'm going to color in the mouth here, and then I'm going to take a red marker. This is from Arteza. It's a brush marker. I've had this forever, and I decided I should try these. Anyways, I've had them since I lived in Oregon. That's how long. Anyways, I'm going to use my white marker here to color in the eyes and give it some little dots and a little white mark over his nose. And then I'm going to use my crimson chalk paint by Waverly and a small paintbrush to color in a tongue on inside the mouth. And the reason why I'm using the paint instead of the marker is because it shows up better because of that black. That black would make that marker not show up. So then I decided to give it a few little eyelashes on the top and some eyebrows. I don't know why I put them on the sides of the eyes instead of the top, but I did. And then these are stickers that I got from the Christmas crafting section in Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to glue them on for cheeks. And then I'm going to use my slick puff paint here to do some curly icing hair. But when I was all done and off camera, I decided, I want the icing to go all the way around the face. So I did go ahead off camera and go around the face. Then I'm going, yes, that was my granddaughter's hand. She always likes to get her hand in the shot. But I did the same thing with this Tide container. I traced out the face that I wanted. And then I'm going to go over it with my markers here. And I'm just going to color in the inside or the outside part of the eyes with my white, and then the inside with this blue marker. But look how green it is. Oh my goodness. I went over it with another blue that was a little bit better, but man. Anyways, and then I'm doing the nose with my red, and I'm like, the whole time I'm doing this, I'm like, this looks like Mickey Mouse. I think when I added the eyelashes, it kind of helped not look like Mickey Mouse so much. But anyways, once I got that done, I'm just going to add some little, I tried to use this white marker to make some little white dots, and they still looked green. And so I tried to use a little bit of a paint, some white paint, and it still came out looking green. So whatever. Anyways, I added some more of those peppermint stickers for the cheeks. And then I took my rickrack here, and I'm just using the hot glue going along that little indentation that's on there with the hot glue, and then gluing my rickrack on top of that. And then I'm just going to glue it around the top part of this container as well. Then I took this white Chanel stem, came from Hobby Lobby, and then the metallic looking one came from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap them together to give it that candy cane look. And then I'm just going to hot glue them. I did 3 of them, and I'm going to hot glue them on each one of my little gingerbread faces. Then I took my little white rounds here. I'm using a pencil to trace out like swirly lines, and then I'm going to use my crimson color. I'm going to paint every other one with my crimson color and a paintbrush. And then of course I made sure I painted the edges where where the red is, and then I painted the back of them all red as well. Then I'm going to take half of piece of floral foam that I had in my stash. I'm going to glue that to the bottom or the inside, but it wasn't tall enough, so I took another half that I had and I glued that in there too. And then I'm just going to stuff some bags all around it just to kind of keep holding it in place. And then I'm going to take a scrawny little Dollar Tree Christmas tree that they have. I'm going to fluff it the best that I can, and I'm going to stick it right inside of my container. And then I took my cute little gingerbread faces. I'm going to hot glue them to the tree. Now, I originally was planning on doing like a dowel, adding a dowel to the rounds and poking them in, but I decided to just hot glue them, and I did that to the peppermints as well. And then these are little bows from Dollar Tree, and they have a silver bead on them. I took that silver bead off, and I'm going to just put the little twist tie around it again that was already on there, and I'm just going to add some little teeny clay peppermints that I got from Amazon right to the front, and then I'm going to glue them on the little gingerbread rounds. And then I'm just going to add some snow text on the green tree, and this came out so stinking adorable. I absolutely love this, and this is definitely going up in my kitchen this year with all my gingerbread stuff. So I hope you like it too. You have to let me know in the comment box below. One of those ice is bigger than the other. Oh my goodness. Okay, today is the Just Our Imagination Challenge, and I host this on the second Monday of every month with my sweet friend, Miss Kathy Jo from Kathy Jo DIYs. And every month we have some must-use items, and then the group gets together and votes on the one that they thought created the most creative item. And this last month they chose Tiffany with Simply Blessed Crafts. She made these adorable pieces. She made that hedgehog and the owl, and we had to use last month either a poster or chipboard, a napkin holder, and felt, and we had so much fun. And so we are having Tiffany co-host, so make sure you check out her channel, subscribe to her if you haven't already. Check out Kathy Jo. I have links to all of them in my description box below.
Okay, guys, here are our must-use items. So I was the easy one this time. I picked coffee filters. That should be pretty easy, at least I hope. But my good friend Miss Kathy Jo, when it was time for her to pick, pick our items, she was holding a hair pick in her hand. So guess what she picked? A hair pick. What do you do with a hair pick when it comes to crafting? Oh my goodness. So we have a hair pick, but then Tiffany, our guest host, without knowing that Kathy Jo picked a hair pick, picked a hairbrush. And not only do we have to use the bristles, but I have to verify with her if we have to use the plastic or this part that the bristles are in. I don't know, but we have to use a hairbrush. How do you use a hairbrush in crafting? And even more so, since I haven't been able to do gingerbread crafts yet, I really want to do gingerbread crafts. So how am I going to use this and these for gingerbread crafts? You may be asking the same thing, but you know what? Let's find out.
So I took my brush out to the garage and used my husband's vise and a tool that's called a multifunctional tool or something to cut it in half. And then I'm just going to remove this rubbery part, which didn't take much to remove it. Then I'm going to take this dollhouse from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the ceiling from it. I'm going to cut off these little attachment pieces. They're there so that you can attach other Dollar Tree dollhouses to it. And I'm just going to use my wire cutters. And then I'm going to remove all the little windows, which I learned if you push out from the bottom first, then they come out pretty easy. Take off that door, which came off really easy, but putting it back in was a booger. And then I took my Cricut spatula to remove that top piece, which I kind of broke a little bit of it, but it's okay. You could never tell. And then I took and painted the house and the roof with my hazelnut color, and then the windows and the door with my white, but I changed the door to hazelnut. And then this is me trying to stick it in, and I was scraping up the bottom of the house, making the paint scrape off, and oh my goodness. So I finally got it in there, not all the way, but I decided I'm just going to go around it with some hot glue to keep it in place because I'm never going to be opening it. And then I just popped those little houses right back, those little windows right back in. And then I'm going to just replace the roof, it slides right in. But because I painted it, of course, it was going to be a little harder to get on. But I just put a little pressure on it and it did slide right in. So then I decided to go ahead and paint the door frame white because I was like, okay, this is just too much of that hazelnut. It needs a little more white. Then I also painted this top part and then the top of the windows as well. Then I took two of these round styrofoam pieces from Dollar Tree. I'm cutting it in half. And then the other one that I cut, I'm just cutting it so that it has more of a squared edge. Then I took some foam board, cut it down to the size I needed, used my Fix-All glue and hot glue to glue those styrofoam pieces onto that foam board, all from Dollar Tree. And then, I had to add a little piece in the middle there. And then I took my pick here, and you can see I cut some pieces off, but then I thought, it's going to be easier to paint it before I cut it because I can hold on to the handle, which was perfect. So I just painted this. I think I had to do 2 coats. And then after it was all dry, I took my wire cutters here, and it did take a little bit to get all of those pieces cut, but not too hard. I just kind of cut and moved it around and played with it and cut a little bit more until they pop off. Once I had them all cut, I wasn't sure how many I needed, and I didn't want them that tall, so I'm just using those to cut them all down to the size that I wanted. And then I'm going to take these peppermints I got from Amazon. I'm going to glue them to the back, and then I realized as I'm gluing them to the back, there's holes on both both sides of them. So I thought, I wonder if the smaller pick, the ending of the pick would fit there. So I put a little hot glue on it and stuffed it right in, and sure enough, it fits right in there. It was perfect. I'm like, man, I wish I would have thought of this earlier. Then this is a mini peppermint I had from years ago from Hobby Lobby. I glued that on the door, put some candy canes from Amazon on there, and then I took the brush and I cut in sections, and I'm going to paint some of the bristles with my Folk Art Antique Green, and then some of them with Crimson by Waverly, and then I painted some white, and I couldn't tell you how many because I didn't count. So once I had them all painted and dried, and I did it this way because I could hold on to that plastic piece as I painted them. It turned out much easier than cutting them all off and painting them. I'm going to glue the white ones to look like icicles hanging down from underneath the eaves of the house. And then I'm going to add some puff paint all along the top of the house. And I'm going to add some of the green and red ones to look like sprinkles. And then I'm going to add some gumdrop ornaments from Hobby Lobby to the top. And then after that, I'm going to add some diamond dust to all of that. I just kind of added the puff paint and the sprinkles and diamond dust all over, and then decorated it with adding some more of my puff paint to the middle. Now this is where the mess began. So I saw Jackie use this. I think it's Fast and Final. I got it from Walmart. I got the piping bag and the tip and all this stuff, and I'm filling it, and I decided before I did this to glue my house in place. I shouldn't have done that, but I started squeezing from the middle of the bag instead of pushing everything down in the top, and I made a huge mess, and it just was not working for me. So I'm like, forget this. I'm talking to Kathy Joe the whole time I'm doing this. I just started using my finger because I'm like, this is just ridiculous. This is not working. So I did that, and then I went and grabbed my little spatula that I had, and I finished doing that. But I would recommend, if you want to recreate this, that you would put that on before you add the house or the peppermints or any other embellishment. So I added some puff paint to those peppermints. I had some little trees from Temu that I added, some little peppermints, and some little gingerbread people from Hobby Lobby that I added. And then I decided to go around the edge of my foam board here because I didn't want you to see that edging, and I'm just going to take these straws and glue them all around the edge to give it a fun little edging. And there it is. Oh my goodness, I feel like it was such a mess, but it was so much fun. You have to let me know what you think in the comment box below.
Okay, just our imagination. I hope you're enjoying today's video and the playlist. It's always a fun time trying to figure out what we're going to do with these must-use items. And let me tell you, Tiffany and Kathy Jo were not easy on us this time. Not at all. And yeah, let's just say this one is a challenge. And I'll tell you what those challenge items are in a few minutes. But before we continue on with the video, I always like to stop in and just thank all my subscribers. You guys are just wonderful and you mean the world to me, and I appreciate you guys more than I can ever really say. And it just means the world that you come back every video and watch and support my channel and as well as support me. And I can't say it enough how much I appreciate you. And if you are new here and if you like home decor on a budget and you enjoyed today's video, then I would love it if you'd become part of our YouTube family as well and hit that red subscribe button before you go, and then make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so that way you're notified every time I upload a video and that you don't miss any going forward. So also, before we go on to this playlist, I want to remind you guys about that new hype button. It's down by where you give the thumbs up, and you get 3 hypes in a week for any video that you like, and you have to do it within the first week of that video. So make sure you hype this video. I would greatly appreciate it, and comment, share, all that fun stuff. It truly helps me out, and I do truly appreciate it. So with all of that fun chatting, let's continue on with the video.
Okay, it is a time for a celebration of your recreations, and Rebecca made these adorable snowmen. I love them, Rebecca. They are so cute. And then we have Debbie, who made these pretty pumpkins out of a bowl and out of a sponge kind of a thing, cleaning thing. And then Valerie, look at all her cute little ghosts. Oh my goodness, they are so cute. Thank you all, ladies, for sharing these with us. And if you have a creation or a recreation that you would like me to showcase, you can send pictures to my email address that's listed there, or you can send them to me through Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Okay, DIY number 3. So I have 2 of these gingerbread people from Dollar Tree, and on one of them I wanted to remove the tie, so I thought I would try it. I'm using my heat gun trying to release some of that adhesive, and my Cricut spatula trying to pull it up, but I did notice it was starting to pull up some of the wood, so I decided to forget it, leave it on. I painted both of them with my hazelnut color, and then after they were dry, I don't know why it took so long showing you that. I took some paper. This came from a paper pad I got from Amazon a few years ago. And I'm just creasing it around the tie for the boy with my fingernails. And then I cut it all out with my scissors. And then I'm going to take some white paint and I'm going to paint around the edges, because I wanted to make sure that if that paper was a little short, you would see white and not the wood. And then I went ahead and paint the trim on the gingerbread person as well. Then I took my antique green by Folk Art and my crimson by Waverly, and I painted the buttons, one color on each button. And then I'm going to take my Mod Podge and put it on the bow tie. I'm just going to brush it all in. I'm going to add my paper to it. And then it was kind of hard because I was like, oh, which way did I have it? Because it wasn't quite even. And then once I had it on there, I just went over it with a little bit of more Mod Podge just to protect it. And then after that, I'm going to take this coffee filter. And I thought, okay, let's make her a dress. So I thought, oh, that kind of looks like a little cheerleader skirt. Let's put that on, or the old-fashioned ones at least. And so I'm putting this on. I'm going to hot glue it. And there's like 3 or 4 layers. I don't know how many layers, but I glued it all in. I thought, okay, what am I going to do for a top? So I thought, well, let's cut out the middle. So I took another stash of them, cut the middle out. And then I cut it down a little bit to size. And I'm just going to glue this around the top. And when I got done, I looked at it. I'm like, okay, this looks like a pharaoh outfit or something, something from the Egyptian days. I'm like, oh my goodness, she looks like a little Egyptian pharaoh. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do to change this up? So I'm just going to add some rickrack around the skirt and around the shirt. And then I ended up, I think I'll show you that here in a minute. I ended up saying, okay, this just looks too weird. So I cut by the shoulder so that it looked more like a tank top than that, because I just felt it just gave me too much Egyptian vibes. And I don't know. And after I did all this, I thought, why didn't I make her a little dress with some fabric that I have and then use that to make like an apron? That would have been much cuter. So, you take my suggestion if you want to do this, and you could do that. Anyways, so once I was done, I added some of these peppermints I got from Amazon. I'm going to glue them in front for buttons. And then I had these eyes that I got from Amazon. I thought, I'm going to try these. And I painted some half beads for noses. And you guys, I'm just showing you this. I hated it. I felt like they were kind of scary, like scary clowns almost. And I was just like, yeah, no, I don't like this. So I ended up removing everything, repainting it, and then I drew in their faces and I colored it all in. And I'm not going to show you all of that because I showed it to you at the beginning. I used some blush in my little finger dauber. Sorry, Oliver. Sorry, my grandkids are right outside the window and he hears them and he doesn't know who's out there. Oliver, stop. Sorry, guys. Anyways, as you can see, stop. As you can see, I'm adding some icing. Oh, he's being a stinker. Look, listen to him. Come here. Sorry, guys. Oh, my goodness. I added some icing for hair on both of them. Then I created these stencils with my Cricut and stencil vinyl. I added it onto one of these Hobby Lobby signs, and I'm going over them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Crimson. Once it was all dry, then I just went ahead and removed all of that vinyl and all of the little pieces. I used my little pick to pick them all off. Then I decided to go ahead and go around this whole sign with my rickrack. So I'm just going to hot glue this. Man, you can hear they all know I'm doing my voiceover, and yet they're all being loud. Sorry, guys. Anyways, I'm just going to hot glue this all around my sign. Oh, what a night. Okay, so once that was all done, I'm going to take my Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue my female gingerbread to the front. Now, if you can notice, she's got a really big nose. I drew her nose way too big. I'm going to add the boy, and I do change it off screen. But I have these. I got these from Kathy Jo. She sent them to me last year. They were $2.48. Now I think there's $3.66 or something. But I'm just going to glue them all around. The next day, I was like, I got to change that nose. I do not like it. So I did paint over the nose and changed both of the noses and painted them red. But I took some of this red cording from Hobby Lobby. It's got two pieces wrapped together, so I unwrapped them. I'm going to use them to add a peppermint on one of those bows, and I'm just going to tie that around it. And then I'm going to hot glue that to the top of my female gingerbread. That nose. I keep looking at that nose, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so huge. Anyways, that's all I did with this one, other than fixing those noses. And I think those noses red it looks much cuter. Anyways, you have to let me know what you think about this one as well. And the final reveal is coming right up. So here it is. So let me know which one was your favorite today. I know which one was my favorite. It was the very first one. I love that thing. But anyways, make sure you subscribe before you go, like, comment, share, hype, all that fun stuff. I will be back again on Thursday with another Christmas video. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.